It's time to get your geek on with Dave Gremillion.
Yes, indeed. Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to your Saturday night Geek Fest. I am David Gremillion, and welcome to Get Your Geek On, where we talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. Geek, it's not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Okay, geek is very much in. It is mainstream. It is the norm now. Geek is all over the place, and we are here on AM 930 KLUP Talk Radio to bring you the very latest and greatest when it comes to geek. If you're listening on 930 AMTheAnswer.com, thank you very much. If you're listening on the podcast in the future, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Tonight, let's see what we got going on here. I have... I got some notes here about an auction that took place in California that had some geeky items related to it. Yeah, your wallet's going to hurt when you check this one out. We'll get to that here in a minute. I want to know why we don't have a Black Widow movie yet. And I'm not the only one wondering. Mark Ruffalo is also starting to wonder exactly why we don't have a Black Widow movie. And we're going to talk about the phenomenon that is Pokemon Go. Yes, I have it downloaded. Yes, you probably do too. And if you don't at this point, you probably will, just to see what all the fuss is about. Also, we've got some interesting Marvel news coming up. Interesting in that I'm trying to not just explode over it. Iron Man is no longer going to be Iron Man, and we're going to talk about that coming up after the break. But first, to get the show underway, I got to make sure that I have everything that I need in order to do a geeky talk radio show, the only geeky talk radio show in the 7th largest city in the United States. I got to make sure that I do it right. So do I have a refreshing beverage? Yes, I do. I'm covered there. Do I have a back scratcher? I want to make sure that I have that covered as well, because I don't want to get an interview with Tim Rose again, who was the actor who did Admiral Akbar, and get an itch in the middle of the back. You know that one spot you can't reach? Of course you do. You've suffered from it. Everybody has. And that's why I have a back scratcher, so I don't tell Tim Rose, yeah, I just got to hang up. Yeah, okay, we got that. Now, if you're going to do a geeky show, you got to have a lightsaber. I mean, even if you're not that big a Star Wars fan, which, well, pretty much everybody is, you still got to have a lightsaber. So I have Old Blue. Yes, I love this lightsaber. It's so much fun. All right, so I got Old Blue, so that'll take care of it there. So that concludes the checklist. I got everything I need to do the show right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this auction that happened in California. A lot of geeky items went up for sale. Get your wallets ready. We're going to be talking about some money. Okay, so recent auction out in California had a lot of geeky items going for it. And we're going to go over a few of them here. And then I want to go over a top 10 list I put together of kind of overall movie props and how they've sold at auctions. So let's talk about, let's see here. What sold? A uniform worn by Chekhov. Now, this is the original series, so it's Walter Koenig. A uniform worn by Chekhov, Uhura, and Nurse Chapel netted $42,500 each. Yeah. Wallets hurting yet? No, it's going to get better. The uniforms of Kirk and Spock. Oh, yes. The ones worn in the original series went for $60,000. And that's
don't tell me they don't use money in the 23rd century.
Well, we don't.
That's true. They don't use money in the 23rd century, but they do in the 21st, and that's a lot of money. Let's see here. An X-Wing model from Episode 4. One of the ones used in the trench run. Don't know if it was the one piloted by Luke Skywalker or not, but even still, it went for $160,000. Oh, my God. If you have that type of money to throw around at an X-Wing model, please come talk to me. Just saying. Headpiece to the staff of Ra from Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The best Indiana Jones movie, by the way. Yeah, I know it's my opinion. And everyone has an opinion, but mine's on a talk radio show, so mine's right. Oh, you gotta laugh. Come on. It's late on a Saturday night. You gotta laugh. Headpiece to the staff of Raw went for $70,000. That's more than the uniform of Kirk and Spock. How about that? This is fun. I like this one. A weapon from Amok Time, the original series episode for Star Trek where Kirk and Spock had to fight each other with that kind of quarterstaff spear-looking thing. It was also parodied on Cable Guy, the movie Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. If you haven't seen Cable Guy with Jim Carrey, go see that movie. It's got to be somewhere. Just find it. But the weapon that they used to fight each other, Kirk and Spock, of course, not Jim Carrey, Matthew Broderick. They used a different weapon. But that weapon just happened to go on sale for $42,500. Yeah, same as Uhura and Nurse Chapel's uniforms, too. That's kind of interesting. So the same weapon. That's a chunk of change right there. And a tribble. One lone, furry little tribble. Looks like Shatner's hairpiece. Went for $5,000. Okay, for a little dribble. Good Lord. All right, now these are trinkets, really, compared to the highest auction movie props of all time, of which I have a top 10 list here, thanks to eBay. They wrote an article about it. Honorable mentions. Remember, these are the ones that did not make the top 10 list. Mulder's FBI badge went for $6,000. Just his badge. That's it. $6,000. A proton pack from Ghostbusters 2. The one with the Vigo the Carpathia. Yeah. $130,000 for that little beauty right there. Whew. A lightsaber. I'm sorry, not a lightsaber. The lightsaber from Episode 4. Luke's lightsaber, which I guess technically is Anakin's and then became Obi-Wan's and then it was kind of passed down to Luke, but it's still Luke's. That's how they listed it. $240,000. That's, wow. I'm actually kind of surprised it went for that little. It must have been sold a long time ago in an auction far, far away. Because surely Luke's lightsaber from Episode 4 would sell for a lot more than that today. It would have to. There's just no question. And this is my favorite. My favorite honorable mention. This one keep in mind, did not make the top 10 list. The Enterprise from The Next Generation. This is the NCC 1701D. This is Picard's Enterprise. Sold for $576,000. How's that X-Wing model looking for you now? $576,000, and it didn't make the top 10. You want to find out what did make the top 10? Here we go. Can I have a drum roll, please? All right, number 10. A Panavision PSR 35mm camera used to shoot Episode 4 by George Lucas himself. $625,000. More than the Enterprise. Number 9, the Ruby Slippers from Wizard of Oz. $660,000. I can certainly see that. That is iconic. Number 8, the Cowardly Lion outfit from The Wizard of Oz. $700,000. Okay. Number 7. Okay, here we go. Audrey Hepburn's black dress from Breakfast at Tiffany. It's very iconic. It's on the movie poster and everything. That went for $792,165 for that dress. Number 6. Get this. This is the only flying car on the list. And no, it's not the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Number 6, the flying car from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Went for $805,000. It's actually a third higher than the DeLorean itself. I know, you're all saying, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, are you serious? But no, it really went for $805,000. Number 5, the submarine car from The Spy Who Loved Me. I believe it was a Lotus model. Went for $860,000. And no, that is not the last car on the list, but we're getting in there. Number 4. Are you ready for this? I had to do a double take from this. The children's outfits from Sound of Music. They call them the Do-Re-Mi outfits because those are the ones they sang during that song. That went for $1.5 million for those outfits. By the way, Sound of Music, number 3 on the domestic box office gross list, adjusted for inflation, all time. Number 3, Sound of Music. Go figure. Number 3, it's the last car on the list. It's, of course, the Aston Martin that Sean Connery drove in the movie Goldfinger. $4.4 million. And that's number 3. $4.4 million. Number 2, Audrey makes another appearance here. It's Audrey Hepburn's dress from My Fair Lady, the horse race scene. You know, that huge white thing with the hat and everything. Holy cow. Someone shelled out $4.5 million for that dress. And believe it or not, the number 1 highest selling movie prop ever at auction, Marilyn Monroe's white dress from A 7-Year Itch. Now, if you don't know what movie that's from...
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
Yes, it's the subway scene. Yeah, talk about iconic. So that dress went for $4.6 million. And someone paid $5,000 for a tribble. Oh, man. So I understand Geek is in, but apparently it's not in too much at the auction. But that's okay. That's no problem. We got everything else going for us. So let's go ahead, and I want to find out, why do we not have a Black Widow movie, not even in production? Let's talk about that there, shall we?
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures. Flying, dining, saving you all in the city. Got masks on and weapons out. You won't like the Hulk when he's angry.
Alrighty, so let's talk about this. This is certainly not a new topic. People have been wondering about this for a while. But we get a little bit of a new spin on it here now that Mark Ruffalo has come out and opened his mouth about it. Black Widow, ever since she came on screen in Iron Man 2, fans have gone crazy for Black Widow. And that's male, obviously, and female as well, because it's a strong, action-oriented woman. And that's something that we really don't see a lot of nowadays. Sure, you have your Katniss Everdeen, but let's face it, there really wasn't a strong, action-oriented female lead in Twilight. So women have been kind of looking for that strength again. And Black Widow gave it to them. And of course, it doesn't help that she's Scarlett Johansson. Certainly does not hurt her in any way. But when Marvel first started their resurgence, and it started in 2008, of course, with the first Iron Man movie. That's what kicked off all of Marvel. So now it is 8 years later. Almost a full decade, 75% of the way through to it's like 80% through to actually having a decade of Marvel movies. And we haven't had one yet with a leading lady. Now, I know people give Star Wars a lot of crap because, oh my God, you just had Daisy Ridley and now you've got Felicity Jones. There are too many women leading Star Wars movies. Yeah, they've been getting crap for that, but there's been nothing for Marvel. Zero. And you think about all the movies that have come out. And I'm not even talking about, the Avengers and Age of Ultron. No, I mean like Guardians of the Galaxy. Ant-Man. Any of the Iron Men. Thor. The Hulk. Even Marvel can't make them all that good. But still, we've had nothing for women. We really haven't. So, the fans clearly want it. Scarlett Johansson memorabilia flies off the shelves. Black Widow toys fly off the shelves. The fans love and they crave Black Widow. The Russo brothers, who are Marvel directors, they want it. They've already come out and said they think it'd be a fantastic idea. Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios himself, has said, what a good idea. What a fantastic idea. Wouldn't that be awesome? Because otherwise you got to wait for Captain Marvel to come out in 2019. Mark Ruffalo has come out and he says that he has an idea already worked out. Mark Ruffalo being, of course, the Hulk, has come out and said, quote, I'd like to see her whole beginning story that we hear about in the Avengers Age of Ultron. He was talking to in an interview with Digital Spy. He's, of course, referencing the scene in which Natasha Romanoff reveals her dark past to Bruce Banner. It's so fascinating, he continues, her being raised from the very beginning as just a killing deception machine. And now she comes to be with the Avengers and how she finds her morality. It would be amazing. I got to agree. How cool would it be to have a Black Widow movie with Hawkeye in it, but, you know, he tracks her down and gets her to come over to the Avengers? Why can't we have that? Why can't we have, I mean, you've seen the flashback images, you know, the ballet class and, you know, her instructions about how to be a super spy and all that. Why can't we have that? It's like 007, it's like Jane Bond for Marvel. How do we not have this movie yet? How is it possible that people have looked at that and said, I don't know. I mean, an action movie in Marvel, I just don't see it. I don't understand this. I really don't. And if you think that it's just because, it's because women actually don't want this, no, you're wrong. 42% of the audience that went to see Age of Ultron, women. And I don't think they went because they were going as dates. Although some of them probably were, don't get me wrong, but 42% of the entire audience were women. A poll done recently by Fandango shows that 48% of everybody who was polled, and it was quite a large poll, they want a Black Widow movie over Vision, Hawkeye, and Falcon. And I think the second place was Vision, and it was like 19%, something like that, versus the 48 who want a Black Widow movie. Let me throw out one more stat at you here. Ant-Man the movie, which I love, good movie, great side characters, got a kick out of it, horrible villain. Real, and I don't mean horrible like he was, you know, he was inflicting all sorts of pain and destruction. No, I mean he was badly written. That movie grossed $519 million worldwide. $519 for Ant-Man. And I remember when it came out, people were like, really? You're going to do an Ant-Man movie? Ant-Man? You're Ant-Man the movie? Who's going to go see that? Yeah, it grossed $500 million. Standing on its head, Marvel can just gross $500 million. Imagine what it would be like if we had a Black Widow movie starring Scarlett Johansson. I know all the guys are like swerving in the next lane every time I hear, every time I say Scarlett Johansson. And then Renner, who plays Hawkeye. And he comes in. You have a Hawkeye and Black Widow movie. How does that not gross like $800 million? Easy. And I mean easy. $800 standing on its head, no problem. They wouldn't even need to promote this. All they do is just release it like what Disney does with Star Wars. You ever notice how they don't promote Star Wars? They just release the trailer on YouTube and that's it. And it gets like, 1 billion views or something like that. All they have to do is just say, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and every Marvel fan just goes crazy. They'll see that movie like 3 or 4 times. So it's going to make money. It'd be a great movie. I don't understand how we don't have this yet. I really don't. And I'm not trying to be, a sexist, feminist, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It is a little odd that given Marvel's wide array of characters that they have not done a female lead movie yet. It's a little odd that you have to wait 11 years after Robert Downey Jr. resurrected his career in the first Iron Man movie before you see a leading lady movie in Marvel. It is a little odd. Now, I'm not one to say, oh, well, for diversity's sake, they gotta have it. After all, Star Wars Rogue One is the multicultural movie. It's the most multicultural. Yeah, I don't care about that. I want good stories. I want good movies. I don't care who stars in them. I would wager to speak that a lot of y'all don't really care about color, race, creed, sex, whatever. You just want a kick-ass movie. That's all you really want. You want to be entertained. You don't care who it's by. And I'm right there with you. I'm on the same page. This movie would rock. Why they haven't done a female-driven movie is it's just beyond me. It's a little puzzling. Now, they've done well regardless. I would wager that more than a few women have gone to see Thor. And I don't think they're going to go see it for Natalie Portman. That's what the guys are going to see it for. I mean, biologically speaking, come on. But at the same time, this movie would be gangbusters. It has the potential anyway, and it's got so much support behind it. Ruffalo wants it. Head of Marvel wants it. Why don't we have this? It's like you get everybody in a room together. Let's say we got 50 of my listeners in a room together, and I say, you want this movie? And we go right down the row, one after another, and everybody says yes. And I say, great, I want this movie too. And then it never happens. Why? Scarlett Johansson too expensive? No, because they paid Robert Downey Jr. $50 million for Avengers. So Scarlett Johansson can't be that expensive, can she? I mean, even if she only wanted $30 million for the picture, that's a steal at twice the price, because you're going to make $800 million off of it. So it can't be about money. It can't be about willingness, because apparently everybody wants this. What is the holdup? I am genuinely asking, what is the holdup? I don't want to, go into the whole Disney conspiracy theory here, but is Disney stopping this? Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios, wants a Black Widow movie. How come we don't have one? Isn't he the guy that would just turn to his secretary and say, hey, Miss or Mr. So-and-so, I think about a Black Widow movie sounds pretty good. Let's get on that. I mean, the buck stops with him, doesn't it? It really puzzles and baffles me how everybody says they want a Black Widow movie, but we don't have one. I simply do not. I don't understand. All right, so let's, before we cut to the break here, I want to talk about a contest that we're having at facebook.com/GYGO official. You got to go to the official one, because you don't go for the pretenders. You go to, the real one. It's for us. The sweepstakes is I'm giving away a Boba Fett wristwatch, and it's fat. It's impressive. It's not like, one you get out of a cereal box or something. No, it's a nice wristwatch. I'm giving that away, and I'm also giving away a Starfleet Academy class ring. The kind that you saw in Star Trek Into Darkness. No, it's not the movie prop. I've actually gotten messages. No, it's not the actual ring. It's a replica made of pewter. It's very nice. I'm giving both those away, and here's the thing. I will ship globally. I will ship anywhere, and anyone can win, except for Goose. I'm sorry, Goose. My sound prognosticator cannot enter. But that means that you can, and you get more entries that way. All you have to do to win both of these items is to go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO official. Like the page. I will put up every day between now and, it's a week from today, July 16th. I will put up a daily post. All you have to do is share the post. That's it. One share is one entry. So if you share it 5 times, that's 5 entries. If you share 5 of the posts, 5 different places, that's 25 entries, and so on and so forth. Now, please do not share it to your own wall 20 times. That doesn't count. That's one share. You got to share it to different places. Share it to your friends. Share it to your coworkers. Share it to groups and pages. That's fine by me. The more shares, the more entries. And I will announce a winner on the Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO official, after the contest ends. So get your shares in. Get them in quick. I will be giving away a Boba Fett wristwatch and Starfleet Academy ring to somebody. I don't see why it can't be you. All right, so San Antonio, stay tuned. Music is on, which means we got to get to a quick break here. Coming up next, we're going to talk Pokemon Go. We're going to be talking about Iron Not-So-Man. And yes, we even have a little Star Trek Beyond news that we're going to get to regarding Hikaru Sulu. All right, so don't forget, check us out here. We'll be right back here at 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com. Ah, yes. Welcome back. This is Get Your Geek On. I am David Gremillion talking here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com. Thank you for listening if you're driving around San Antonio, and thank you for listening if you're listening in the future when the podcast is loaded. We appreciate that. Hop in your TARDIS and give you the lottery numbers. That'd be nice. You see the Mega Millions is up to like over $500 million. Please, lottery numbers. Come back to the past. That'd be much appreciated. Yeah, who am I kidding? If you have a TARDIS, you're probably not coming back. And if you have a TARDIS in the winning lottery numbers, you're definitely not coming back. Alrighty. So, there was a phenomenon that was released. Started down under, quickly spread across the world. And no, I'm not talking about a virus or deadly disease. Instead, no, we're talking about a video game. Ah, yes. Of course, video games aren't quite like what they were back when I was growing up. You know, with the Atari 2600 and the one-button joystick. Nope, instead, now we have Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was released on, I believe it was Wednesday. It was released down under. And somehow, some way, everybody in the U.S. started playing before it was officially released, so they went ahead and officially released it. And now everyone's playing it, and everyone's getting into car accidents, and everyone's walking around more, which is good, but you got to watch where you walk because, you know, there's private property, and don't wander onto an airport tarmac. There was a report that someone was stabbed and mugged because they went to and I'm quoting the article here. I'm not going to do the source because it's a stupid article that I'm getting ready to debunk. It's fake. You know, it was done just for clicks, so I'm not going to say who it was. But someone was stabbed and mugged while playing because they were using their iPhone, and they were in a quote-unquote bad neighborhood. Whoa, that really narrows it down. It doesn't say if it was a bad neighborhood in San Antonio. Lord knows there are too many of those. Could be Chicago, L.A., New York, Albuquerque. I don't know, but, you know, they said it was a bad neighborhood and that he was mugged and stabbed for his iPhone. Okay, well, first of all, it's a fake article because when the article was published, yeah, they hadn't released it for iPhone yet. It wasn't even for the iOS. So, yeah, that didn't work. There are also no specifics, like which neighborhood, which town, which city, where was it, we don't know. And that his main concern was trying to get his phone back. That part I actually believe. That if some kid is, you know, I assume it was a teenager, was stabbed and mugged for their iPhone, that the first thing they would be their main concern would be their stupid iPhone. But no, the story's fake. It didn't happen, but yeah, please be careful when you're playing this game. All right, so what is Pokemon Go? So Pokemon started about 20-something years ago, and it just will not die. Kind of like Magic the Gathering also started. It really started to catch fire about 20 or so years ago. Stop, purists. You're going to say, oh, well, technically speaking, it was No, it really was mainstream about 20, 25 years ago. Let's just leave it at that. It just won't go away. It's back. So Pokemon Go is what they call an enhanced game. It is augmented reality. Much like Ingress, when it came out, was augmented reality. With Ingress, you go around to different landmarks, actual historical landmarks, and they will be portals that you view in your game, and you use them to get stuff, and you can attack enemy portals and build up your own portals, and so on. With Pokemon Go, they've taken augmented reality to a different level. Not necessarily a better level, but a different level, in that when you find a Pokemon, which they're random. I mean, you can see pictures. One of them One picture in particular, I love this one. His wife's delivery room. She's getting ready to give birth. Now, she's not actually starting to, the push process, but, they're checked in and they're getting in touch with their nurse and her contractions are starting. And he finds a Pokemon in the room. Well, how does he find it? Well, the game utilizes your camera on your smartphone. So if you're walking along the sidewalk and you see on the game, hey, there's a Pokemon ahead of me, you can turn on your camera and look, and the Pokemon will be on the ground right there in front of you on your camera. So there's the ground on your camera, and hey, a little Pokemon's there. And people have been posting, hey, there's one in my bedroom, there's one in my shower. I let... there's one in my driveway, there's one in my wife's delivery room, there's one in my classroom, and so on and so forth. Kind of a cute little thing. Yes, I've downloaded it. Yes, I've played it. It's cute. I like it. I really do. Apparently, y'all do as well because it is the number one app on the App Store, and that happened overnight. Overnight, it shot to the top of the charts. Everyone's going to be playing this game. I have no doubt in my mind. However, it's a battery killer. It's an absolute battery killer. Boy. So Mashable, which www.mashable.com is a fun little website. And they have one in Australia, Mashable Australia. They ran an iPhone 6S test. No Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi. They wanted to see how quickly this would drain the battery. So they started at 1:45 p.m. with 99% capacity. And they played the game. That's all they did. They just played the game. The first thing they noted was that it doesn't take up a lot of data. At least for them, because remember, no Wi-Fi. They're using their 4G. It didn't eat up a lot of data for them. That's good news. The bad news is that by 2:36, so only 45 minutes later, their battery had dropped by a third, from 99% to 60% battery. By 3:45 p.m., which is 2 hours of playing the game, they had 23% battery left. You know who's going to be really happy about this? The companies that make external batteries for cell phones. Now, I don't know that people are going to play this for 2-3 hours straight. You may if you're at a convention. Convention? Did I mention I'm going to Sci-Fest this weekend? I didn't. Well, I am at Sci-Fest this weekend, both Saturday and probably swing by on Sunday. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I'll be walking around the event center and I'll want to see, I'll bring my phone with me and see what Pokemon are hanging around, which means I'll need to bring a battery with me at some point. Reminder, when I head back tomorrow, I need to bring a battery with me. Good idea. All right, so there is a battery saver option, but it really doesn't do much. It kind of tones down the augmented reality part. It can turn off the camera, but it still, it doesn't make that big of an impact. Really what you need to do is you just turn down the brightness settings on your screen. You stay off the Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. You need to do standard phone stuff to retain your battery. Niantic, the company that made it, admits that this is a problem. They've come out and said, yep, it's a battery drainer, and there is a fix in the works. When it's going to come out, I don't know. Don't look at me. I may post something online at facebook.com/GYGOofficial, but, it is what it is. And, of course, the game has microtransactions. Ah, yes, the way developers make their money back. You get Pokecoins, which is in-game currency that you can spend on other stuff. You can get them as cheap as 99 cents, and you get a little stack of Pokecoins, or you can spend $100, $99.99 for this thing, and you get just a stack, just like a dump truck full of Pokecoins. But really, if you're spending $100 on this game, really? Are you the guy who also spent $5,000 on the Tribble? I'm just wondering if you got that money to throw around. I guess more power to you. So that's Pokemon Go. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably be reporting on this a little later on. I want to see how popular it's going to get. I bet it's going to be mad popular, considering how popular the show was back in the day, and how much fun the game is to play, I bet it's going to be really good. All right, so with that being said, I want to talk real quick before we get to our Marvel news. Let me go ahead and, since I already brought it up, Sci-Fest is a convention here in San Antonio. It's over at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall over by Dave & Buster's, 410 and I-10 off of Fredericksburg Road. I was there today, had a lot of fun. It's a free event. That's kind of what I love. 100% free. There's no charge for parking. You want to walk in the door, you do it free. You walk in, you walk out. It's, free, even to leave. It's okay. Absolutely free. 100 vendors will be at this convention. 100 vendors. They got a costume contest tomorrow for kids. Okay, so bring your kids. Dress them up. Go for it. Why not? Costume contest will be there. It's obviously, today. It's over today, July 9th, but it's July 9th and 10th. And I will be there as well. I was there today. I'll probably swing by there tomorrow. So come out and say hi. Shake a hand. Tell me you listen. That'd be pretty cool. So big shout out to the guys over at Sci-Fest. You can find them on Facebook as well. They have a Facebook page that'll tell about what kind of events they have going on and how things are going out there. All right. Okay, so with that being swept under the rug, let's go ahead and let's talk about Iron, air quotes, Man. Ah, yes, little Black Sabbath there. Good stuff. All right, so we all know Iron Man. If you've read the comics, you know Iron Man. If you've seen the movies, you know Iron Man. If you are listening to this station at this time on this show or my podcast, odds are you know who Iron Man is. Or at least we used to know who Iron Man is. Iron Man is going to undergo some radical changes, to say the least. Now, there's a canon reason behind it, but Iron Man is about to become a 15-year-old African-American girl. Yeah, this kind of puts me in a tough position because, on the one hand, I'm not racist, but at the same time, I don't quite get the change and why this change and why now. I don't quite get it. The story is, her name is Riri, R-I-R-I. Riri. I'm going to assume I'm pronouncing that right, but it sounds like Scooby-Doo saying Riri? Okay, Raggy. It does. I don't quite get it. She's a science genius who enrolls at MIT at the age of 15. She comes to the attention of Tony when she builds her own Iron Man suit in her dorm. Okay, I'm not sure where she gets the chest piece from. I'm not sure where she gets the metal for the armor, but apparently she does. Fans they're pretty upset. They're pretty upset, not about the race so much, but just the fact that there is a change. I want to bring in an expert that I have. I'm going to sound like the guy from Pawn Stars. I'm going to bring in an expert here. Goose, my sound prognosticator, is a lover of Marvel lore. Marvel and DC lore, to be true. Goose, what happened?
I don't know. Marvel lost me in 2007 after One More Day with Spider-Man, and I really haven't collected Marvel books since. Part of the reason for that is I know there's a canon reason for it. I know Tony has to go find himself after Civil War II. He didn't give up being Iron Man after Steve Rogers died at the end of Civil War.
Oh, spoiler alert, God. And I love how I bring in, I build you up as this expert and the first words out of your mouth are, I don't know.
No. Up until 2007, awesome. For about 3 years, I was buying a lot of Marvel and a lot of DC. But when they made the marriage of Peter and Mary Jane never happen after 20 years, and the writer on that was J. Michael Straczynski, better known for Babylon 5, and even he was like, I'm out. there's a reason for that. And since 2007, Marvel has not been able to hold me as a fan. And there was a time I would not buy Superman or Batman. I was buying Spider-Man in the 90s. Now, grant you, this is when the Spider-Man craze was going on in the 90s. But Spider-Man was always the first one I would look at. Now, Marvel, for the last 5 years, has tried to change their entire lineup. When Captain America died, Bucky took over until Steve came back.
Yep.
And now Sam Wilson is Captain America, as well as Steve Rogers. That's different. Thor. Hey, look, it's Jane Foster. Great, we know Jane Foster. She's been a beloved character for many years.
Natalie Portman, thank you very much.
Same with Sam Wilson and Bucky. Okay. Amadeus Cho, been around since 05, 06. He's the new Hulk. That's perfectly fine. What happened to Bruce, we're going to learn that soon, which is fine. When the Miss Khan, I can't remember her name, became Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers became Captain Marvel.
Yep.
She had something to do. When they collapsed the Ultimate Universe at the end of Secret Wars, Peter was still Spider-Man, but Miles Morales became another Spider-Man.
Now, let me ask you something real quick here. I want to get this out of the way. I want to clear everything up. I don't want there to be any misconceptions. Goose, are you, in fact, a racist?
No. Here's the problem with this. I know that they want sales. I know they want to change up this. I know Marvel wants to change things up for sales. However, how are you going to tell an Avengers movie story when the new fans don't know Tony Stark as Iron Man, that don't know Bruce Banner as the Hulk, that don't know Steve Rogers as Captain America? They know Sam Wilson as Captain America.
And that's going to be a while down the road. But yeah, the movies and the comics are, I mean, it's not like it's one character or a what if timeline. Remember they did the what if series, back in the day. But now there's so many changes. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Ms. Marvel, Hulk. There's so many changes now. At some point, they're either going to have to change the movies. I don't mean like George Lucas special edition style. I mean like come out with a new set of movies to match these characters, or they're going to have giant conflicts.
Now, I was very impressed with the Captain America movie, that it did not do the one thing that the comics did in Captain America 25,
which is
kill Captain America.
Of course.
I'm glad they didn't do that. I don't know if Chris Evans is glad they didn't do that because he's now on the hook for some more movies. But there was that scene when Cap had the shield up, Tony gets the repulsor blast. That's the iconic scene. That's the iconic cover.
Yep, that's
from Civil War, outside of the Iron Spider stuff from the comic book. But I'm glad they didn't.
Okay, so
but with most changes, we knew the characters. We knew. We had affinity for the characters. Introducing a new character just to make the new character Iron Man or Iron Girl or Iron Woman, however they're going to call it, just for the fact that Tony has to go find himself. Spoiler alert, I know Rhodey died at the beginning. I get that. But Tony pulled Captain America from the ice. He's been his teammate on the Avengers for years, almost since the founding of the team. And he didn't have to find himself when he died.
So let me ask you this, though. Okay, so we now have an Asian Hulk. We have a Muslim Ms. Marvel. We have an African-American Iron Man. I can see that they're going for diversity and multiculturalism. Do you believe, and again, I can't believe we have to say this, but we do you think that race is an issue in all the backlash?
No, what I think is that those characters came along in the 50s and 60s. And in the 50s and 60s, and even 70s, comic books were very male-dominated fandom by the buyers as well as the characters. So they wrote the characters for their target audience, which was 10 to 16 male back then.
True.
And because those characters have been around so long, those are the characters we all know and we all love to this day. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with introducing new characters and putting them as part of the mythos.
I mean, they did that when Batman broke his back. I mean, there was the new Batman, but everybody knew it wasn't Batman.
Right. It was Jean Paul Valley.
Yes.
And they took a violent take on him, which then forced Bruce to heal up and come back. And then Bruce wasn't ready yet. What happened? Grayson became Batman for a while until Bruce was ready. He came back. Grayson said, "Here you go," and went back to being Nightwing. Same thing happened after Batman R.I.P. and Final Crisis.
So with all this, people are wondering, is it too much change for fans? Is this going to rip Marvel apart? Is this going to just put Marvel into bankruptcy? Yeah, Ms. Marvel hit the New York Times best-selling list for graphic novels. Think about that for a minute. If you think that's going to be a problem, yeah, it's on the best-selling list.
Now, is that just because Thor's a girl? The fact Thor is Jane Foster, who got the Hammer of Thor because she had cancer.
Did I say Thor? I thought I said Ms. Marvel. Did I say Thor?
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure I said. I thought I said Ms. Marvel. You're getting ahead. Stop reading ahead. I'm going to take away your show notes. Yeah, so Ms. Marvel hit the New York Times best-selling list for graphic novels, and Thor, Goddess of Thunder, outsold Thor by 25% in 2015. 25%. I mean, that's not small change there.
No. And by the way, Thor's coming back in The Unworthy Thor.
Yes. So there we go. He has to find himself as well.
And it's not like they took Carol Danvers away.
No, they kind of promoted her.
They gave her more stuff to do. That left a void for a teenage character that could be in like Young Avengers or hang out with Miles Morales or hang out with the Young Avenger people who we know, which is perfectly fine. And I've got no problem with that. Carol Danvers didn't go off to find herself. She didn't go off to, do whatever it is Carol Danvers would do. She became something else entirely.
Okay, so let's move on. We got a little bit of Star Trek news. I don't even want the music for this. I mean, it's such a major earth-shattering topic. So the director of Star Trek Beyond has come out and said that Sulu is going to be gay. Oh, well. Okay, moving on. That's all I can say about that. No, I really don't care. I mean, big deal. Whatever. Let's get on to some fun stuff. We have ourselves a Sarlacc pit.
What's going on?
We just got to the Sarlacc pit.
What's that?
It's this disgusting, horrible creature that's worse than anything you could ever imagine.
Okay, so the Sarlacc pit is where we take that little precious time to blow off a little steam and let people say who they want to throw into the pit. Now, I don't want to bother with celebrities. I don't want to bother with politicians because they all pretty much deserve it, and I would spend the entire show throwing them in, and that just gets old after a while. So I don't do them at all. For me personally, let's see, who do I put in? I want to put in scorpions. Since I had a pest control guy come out, I had 3 scorpions show up in my house since they came out. I'm not saying who the company is, and they came back out, and I haven't seen any since. But still, those things creep me right out. I mean, I'm walking around my house, looking down the whole time to make sure I don't step on one. I'm shaking my shoes out. When I go in the garage, I'm looking all over the place because I found one on my ceiling, found one on my floor, and I found one kind of like wedged up against a crack in a wall. So, yeah, scorpions, man, take them and just put them all in. Okay, so you can throw someone in at the Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO official. I'll put the post up every week. You just say who you want to put in. Sadly, I won't have time to get everybody in, but I'll do my best. Goose, who do you want to throw in?
Can we throw in the FBI director?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not going down that road.
He's not a politician.
I'm not going down that road. We all know why, and as appalled as anybody would be, I mean, even the diehard Hillary Clinton supporters are like, "Oh my God, we got away with it! I can't believe it!" No, we're not throwing them in. Find someone else.
Okay. How about the people who won't make the Black Widow movie?
Absolutely. There's somebody out there who is stopping a Black Widow movie from being made. Whoever it is, put them in. I'm not sure if I want the movie so much as I just want more Scarlett Johansson. I'm kind of weighing the pros and cons there. Okay. All right, so at the Facebook page, we have David Edward Cooper, who says he wants to throw in the sun for making me break out my pool for trying to kill my grass. So he actually has two of them in there. We're going to do kind of a twofer here. Go ahead and take the sun and the pool and put them in. Connor Flatford says he wants to throw in my coworkers for calling me in all the time and leaving me to come in and do their jobs, plus my own. There'll be days when I come in 3 to 5 hours early because someone had a hangover or just didn't feel like working that day. He says those are literal excuses that he's heard. I hope you're being paid well. All right, so for Connor, put him in. Scott says the people who decided I needed to have $100 in taxes taken out of my check every 2 weeks. IRS, put him in. I got time for one more. Two or one more. My Daniel Boyd says my son's pediatrician for putting off seeing him for over a week and ending up with him in the hospital. Take that, doc. Put him in. I got one more. Billy Ross says he wants to throw an angry French guy X on Yelp for giving the well 5 stars and a glowing review. Take that guy. Put him in. All right, so that'll pretty much wrap it up here. I love that music. That's just awesome. Want to thank everyone for listening. Don't forget to check us out, facebook.com/GYGO official. Don't forget to check out the podcast, the most listened to local podcast on 930 AM The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. And as always, make sure you get your geek on every day. Stay geeky.